So I've got a dilemma with my plants. Okay, so these are in leca. My dilemma is that I like to put my plants in clear containers so I can see their root growth. However, I get full sun, you can see right here, and it makes algae grow, especially in these clear containers. So my solution was this right here, which is just wrapping random packaging around. And honestly, I'm over it. It gets wet, it dissolves easily. It's not plant friendly. And now I know you could just do a bunch of other things. I could tape it, I could whatever. Like, I just want to be able to easily access the roots and everything. So I have come up with a few things. And so I want to test them out. For this one right here, I was thinking like a cute crochet pot since it is closed on the bottom, whereas this one has drainage holes and I need it to have something underneath it to catch the water. So I can't do like a fully enclosed container. That being said, I was like, let's do something that will cover here. So I thought maybe a puff flower crochet or even just using old socks. So we're gonna test them all out and let's get started. And so for these DIYs, I am going to use some yarn that I've just been saving from old projects. It's going to make the process a little more difficult, but it'll be fine. So let's get started with the first pot. All right, so I'm going to start out with crocheting a bucket, but I didn't want it to be like this style of crochet just because I feel like it's plain, I guess. I don't know. I've got the yarn and then I'm gonna try to use a stitch that I've done before. I usually do it with this yarn, which is a lot thicker. So I'm a little concerned it's not gonna work, but we're gonna try it out. Now for this yarn, I think this hooks perfect. These are the yarn balls that I've been trying to reuse. You can see I've got a bunch of random flowers. They've also got dirt from when they used to be a functioning coaster. Now, this one's going to be interesting, but it's a plant pot, so I'm not really too worried about there being so many connection points. So I'm just going to try to mimic this shape, but using the design from the coaster, which I will link the tutorial for that one below. I think this size is what I am aiming for. So I'm just going to keep this for reference on the side. So I start with a magic circle. So I'm going to hold this end. I'm going to wrap, I'm going to overlap it, hold it, tuck my hook under the first one, pull through the second. I'm going to twist and then get my fingers out, yarn over again, pull it through. And with that, I've got my magic circle. I will be working over this little piece. I am going to do 5 single crochets. So I'm going to go in, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over again, and then pull it through all the loops. That's 1 single crochet. I'm going to also do it very loose because this pattern requires shoving the hook into weird crevices. Ew. But also you'll get what I mean in a second. So I'm going to do that again 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see I worked on top of that extra strand as well. Now I'm just going to pull that strand. Let me untangle it and it will tighten the magic circle. Ta-da! And then I am just going to slip stitch into the next crochet loop so that it secures the circle. It's not going to be whatever this mess is, it will be this one right here. So I'm just going to go into this loop. This yarn is very pilly-y. It's very fuzzy, let's just say. So I'm going to pull it through here. And then I've got my slip stitch. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is the first part. Now for round 2, we are increasing. So I'm going to do 2 in every single stitch. I'm going to go ahead and go into the same loop as before. Am I? Dun, da, da, da. So I'm going to go 1. This is what I mean by this pattern needs loose loops, okay? So here's my, oh my gosh, this is how it's going to be today. Okay. We're starting over. So I'm going to go into that same loop, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over again, and pull through. I'm going to do it again in that same loop. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through, yarn over again, pull it through. So now I've got 2 single crochets in here, and I'm going to repeat that for all of the remaining 4 loops. So in the end, we'll want 10 loops. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's looking very tiny. Now for the next one. So now is where things get interesting. So instead of working inside the loops like we were before here, we are actually going to work in here. You're going to work inside of the stitch instead of inside of the loops. First off, we actually need to slip stitch. So I'm going to slip stitch into here. Okay. See, this yarn is not friendly. I can tell. It's going to be causing me problems. So I've slip stitched, and now 2 in the first, 1 in the next, 2 in the first, 1 in the next. I'm going to just keep repeating that. So I'm going to go ahead. Instead of, again, working in those loops, we're actually going to work inside the stitch. Okay, so then I go through the trouble of just building this whole thing out, and I go over and over and just try to work through this. I actually repeated it with this yarn multiple times and it just didn't work. So we'll skip to the clip where I figured that out. Yeah, I learned my lesson, okay? I tried to do it with this pattern and I really struggled. I don't know why, but the crochet hook just doesn't go in between the strands. Like I even swapped for a smaller one. I could even try an even smaller one. Let me see. 4.5. But it just doesn't go in between these strands. Like I can't get the hook in there. So we have confirmed you can't do that with this skinny yarn, but I can do it with this one. So I'm just going to keep continuing it with this. This will also be done a lot quicker. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. You can see this is just working out so much better. I can see where it needs to go. It's not supposed to go in here. It's supposed to go in here. And I can see that so much more quickly and easily with this yarn. Granted, this yarn gives me worse carpal tunnel, but we're just gonna skip over the fact. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep going, and then I think I want the base to be this big-ish. So once I get to the base, we can then do the turning stitch, and I'll be back for that. Alrighty, I have finally made it. I'm gonna take out my little... Am I gonna take it out? What happened here? Oh, I grabbed... Okay, then. Come on. Okay, pull out the marker. Now I'm going to slip stitch here. Usually you would do a round of stitches all the way around, but I can't be bothered. It'll be fine. We're gonna just do this now. To work the curve, I'm going to work in the back loop only and just do a single stitch per stitch in each one of these. So we're just gonna go into here. I'm gonna single crochet 1 in each little stitch. So it starts to bend inward, but it should actually go backwards. That's how it will turn. But as you work, it does its own thing. I'm going to make these loose because as soon as we finish this round, we have to go back to doing the stitches in between the loops. And I don't want to have to deal with the tension because you can already see my carpal tunnel veins. I'm fasting and I'm crocheting, like 2 of the things that make my hands so much worse. Okay, this is the little base of the pot. Gotta work up the walls. I've already decided which plant I want to put in here. I'll grab it later, but it fits in here, but it's a very tall plant. So instead of it being this tall, it's gonna have to be double this. So I'm hoping this will be enough yarn. We'll see. So for the walls, I'm just going to do the single crochets in between the loops all the way around and just the same amount, 1 per stitch, all the way up to the height I like. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be back when it's done. This is what it ended up looking like. The pattern is definitely not what I was expecting. I think it really just works with the circle pattern, but that is okay. I did not end up finishing this row, but it's fine. It's a plant pot. Like, it will survive. So what I'm gonna do is just pull it. I'm gonna skip this stitch, pull it through here, and just like make a fake stitch to just clean it up. And then I'm gonna have to weave this in, which is something I'll do later, honestly. But let's take out the stitch marker. It's a little cute bucket. It definitely is a lot bigger, which I love. That means I can put different plants. Also, if I have a plant that's like too small for it, I can just roll it up and give it a little like mushroom side. It's kind of cute. I love that for it. But yeah, that is this one. I ended up adding in like an extra stitch somewhere on purpose, and I kind of regret it because I feel like it's now bowing out. But I was like kind of worried that it was gonna bow inward. But it's fine. It's cute. It does its job. Let me grab the plant. Okay, I want to put a plant in the pot and see how it looks. Oh my goodness. Okay, you have to ignore the diatomaceous earth. Okay, that is diatomaceous earth, not anything moldy, not anything crazy, I promise. Look at how cute. It doesn't cover all the way. I'm gonna be honest, I ran out of yarn, but I mean just a little stretch. I don't know. Anyways, I think it is so cute. I honestly wish I had more of the yarn to do this with more plants. This was so worth it. It only took me an hour, so I highly recommend trying it out. Okay, so the next one is kind of an interesting one. So this bucket only works if you have a closed bottom. However, a lot of my clear containers are not closed bottom, and I have like trays and stuff. This is what I'm currently working with. But they usually have like trays underneath it and have drainage holes and the dirt, right? So I was like, let me find a way to creatively do something for that. So I was like, let me do the puff flowers, because you can just add them in and like keep going and make it as wide as you want, as small as you want. I'm gonna just try it out. Like, I think if I just kept going, I also have like little coasters, so I can just like wrap. Look at how dirty it is. I apologize. You can just wrap it and just like keep building it on. The other thing I was thinking was like leaving these little strings, and then I could just like tie it in to like secure it in place. So then like I could tie the two ends. I think it's a good idea for like these smaller ones. So I'm gonna just go ahead and use all of this scrap yarn to create more of these flowers. Unfortunately, you can't use the single ones, but I will be undoing the failed attempt from the first one, but that's what we're here for. It's an experiment. For these, I believe it's a magic circle. I haven't done this in a while. Also, I don't think this crochet hook is for, it works. Magic circle. Get my fingers out. Let's see. I believe I just do 12 single crochets. Also, I don't think this is the hook for this. I've got a tutorial on how to make these flowers and the puff flowers, as well as the coaster if you were interested in that. They are really, really pretty when you do multicolors. I'll show you. This is like so pretty. I've got a tutorial for it, but you can see you can just keep adding to them, which is why I think this will be perfect for this. Well, those last ones are definitely a lot looser, but after that, you just pull it shut. I'm telling you, but I also don't remember. I'm gonna have to pull up my tutorial. And then I'm just gonna slip stitch into the first one. And then is when we do the puff stitches. So I'm gonna chain 1, chain 2, yarn over, put it in the same single crochet, pull it up once, pull it up twice, pull it up a third time. Then I'm gonna yarn over, do it again in the next single crochet, pulling it through once, twice, and a third time. Then I yarn over, hold the end, pull it through all the loops, tuck my crochet hook under the end I was holding, yarn over again, and pull it through all of them. Now is when I chain 1, chain 2, and then I go into that third single crochet, yarn over, and slip stitch. I know you have to do the first 2 and then connect it. I love how I'm doing this. But if you want a proper tutorial, check out my video, but I'm just going to quickly do the next one. I'm going to start the third one, but then this is the one that I will start to sew into here. I think I'll finish this row first and then work on the next one. Chain 1, chain 2, yarn in. Wait, what the heck? Yeah, these are getting a lot bigger because just realized I'm not holding that chain tight. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yarning over, pulling it through. Doing this. Okay. So once I've secured it, then I will go into here. These are a lot bigger. It's fine. It's just for my plant experiments. Also, I'm about to run out of yarn, so I need to make sure I keep my eye on that. We'll do it into this one. So I'm going to flip this one over, keep this right side up. I'll just go in here. And then I will continue the slip stitch, although that felt wrong. Yeah, there. Okay. So I yarn over, pull it through everything, do the second one, and then I'm just going to do the rest of the flower normally. Oh, this doesn't look that great. I think I'll just do the row. I don't know. I'm just going to work on this off camera and I'll be back so we can test it out on my plant. All right, we're done. Okay, I only did 1 row. I did start them. Also, I did such a bad job. I need to really go back and watch the tutorial. I think I did it upside down, which is fine. Also, they're a lot bigger. Anyways, I want to just, before I continue, I wanted to just wrap it around and see if, okay, first off, we're going to try to tie it. Okay, it does tie. My worry was that it was going to slip. Actually, it doesn't slip, but honestly, I don't think the fruit is worth the labor. Like, look at that. It doesn't... I feel like I could have just, like, wrapped yarn around. I don't know. I don't know about this idea. Honestly, it works. We'll say it works. And if you want to go through and build it, like it took me an hour to do those few of them or whatever. If you want, I guess, go for it. I want to show like a different angle to just show you what it looks like. It works, but it doesn't. Like, and here, you'll see what I mean. Like, first off, if I had built it more, yeah. But it slowly slips down. And also you have to custom make it for each individual pot. Like, you have to make everything fit perfectly and all of that. And I was just like, it's not worth it. Also, it's really, really thick. So it makes it now that I have to hold the cup in 2 hands instead of just the one. So good in theory, just not it for this. I have a pile of socks that just keep ripping. So yes, my next attempt is to just cut the sock. I think I'm just gonna cut it up to here, but I thought I would just try to see if we can just make this work. Also, I am well aware the sock will probably fray and that I should probably sew it, but I can't be bothered. I really can't. After all of the crocheting I've been doing. Let's see. I'm like kind of worried it's gonna squish the plant. Let's see. Ow, I poked myself. This one has thorns. If this works, it'll be great because I have a pile of this same sock that just keep... Oh, okay, perfect. Yep, that that is just so much better. It's easier to grab. It doesn't add, like, this is super thick. It doesn't add the thickness. It stretches, so I'm sure it would stretch over like a different plant. Let me grab. I've got this one. Okay, this might be a stretch. Hold on, you can't even see. I think, yeah, I think it would stretch pretty well. But yeah, I think definitely this is really cute if you want like a decorative pot. But honestly, this sock is probably the way to go. This is really cute until you realize how much effort you have to do. So if you've got the yarn, you've got the time, the pot actually was a lot quicker than this. So opt for the pot. If you have drainage holes, opt for a sock. Maybe find some cool, fun socks. Just make sure that the sock is like stretchy or that it will actually go over the container. But with that, I am off to go hide the roots of some of my plants.